Well, folks, I've had several requests for hush puppies. I've had several people say, well, we need to fry some fish. And usually when I fry fish, I fix coleslaw, hush puppies, fish, and french fries. So if y'all can bear with me, that's what we're going to do today. So since we're doing all three things, it's going to take a little bit of time to get it all done. So here we go. And my hair's frizzy. It's all fuzzy because it's humid. It's been raining hard and it's a mess outside. First off, I got 2 little onions out of the garden this morning. Because I always put do with my knife. I always put chopped onions in my hush puppies. I always have. Now right here, you'll have to measure the amount that you want to fix for your family. I just kind of guess at it, but I put half and half. I put half self-rising flour, half cornmeal. Usually I use yellow cornmeal, just plain yellow cornmeal, but I didn't have any. But I had this cornmeal mix. So I just mixed some cornmeal mix with my flour, and I'm going to add my other ingredients to it. But I wanted to chop this onion because I've got carrot and I've got cabbage to chop for my coleslaw. And it don't take too much. But I do like a little bit of onion in my hush puppies. And I try to chop them as little as I can. And you might say, well, I don't put green onions in my hush puppies. Well, the way I look at it, onion is an onion. And I like the tops too, so. And I'm not going to put all of this top in there. I'm just going to put part of it. Ooh, it's burning my eyes, y'all. These are some strong little onions. In fact, that's all I'm going to put in there, that. I had this to put it in, but I'm going to go ahead and dump it in my cornmeal and my flour. Woo! That burns. And I got it all over the counter. Now you can put more onion in it if you want. It's up to you. But I wanted to show you that because I wanted to go ahead and chop my onion. What did I do with my bowl for my cabbage? Like I said, I'm not making a large amount. I just cut up a half of a medium size, or cut half of it off of my cabbage this morning. And I'm just going to slice it up kind of thin. Because I always like to chop it again when I put it in my bowl. And a lot of times I make my own dressing, but this time I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to use bottles coleslaw dressing in it. since I'm, you know, trying to make a whole meal, and I don't want to use up all of your day trying to do it. May not even put the half of one in there. This may be a quarter of one. And I got my handy food chopper. I don't particularly like to put it in the blender because I find it chops it up too small. And then usually you got to put water in it. And I've got to break down and get my food processor unpacked that my daughter-in-law gave me. She gave it to me for Christmas, and I've not even taken it out of the box yet. I've been so busy. And I've never used a food processor like that before. You know, I've just used the blenders, like the Ninja that I've got, something simple. So I've got to get that out and figure out how to use it. And we'll be doing some recipes with that too. Now let's see. Y'all know me. I never have everything right ready to go. I had to get my little grater. And I'm just grating my carrot. I don't like onions in my coleslaw. Some people do, but I don't. I did that because I'm going to use that cutting board again. And I'll save that part of my cabbage for something else. Because I may cook steamed cabbage, I don't know. Not today, but... Now you may hear my AC coming on every once in a while. My central air unit. Because... it's hot. It is hot, y'all. I'm going to wait and cut up my potatoes later. I'm going to wait and mix up the rest of the stuff for my hush puppies a little bit later. I'm going to put a little bit, well, no, not in there. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper in my coleslaw. I like mine real simple. And then I'm just going to pour in some just plain old Kraft coleslaw dressing. Give that a mix. I mean, there's so many different versions and ways to fix coleslaw. I just like plain and simple myself. Something easy. I mean, I can buy one of those little bottles of coleslaw dressing, and I've got enough there to fix coleslaw for myself 4 or 5 times. There you go. Now our coleslaw is made. I need to peel my potatoes because I want them ready to go whenever I fry my fish. I'll probably fry my my potatoes first. And again, I'm just cutting these 2. I'm not fixing enough for 10 people. It's just me, so. And these are just 2 plain white potatoes. But I want my bigger knife to slice them with. See why I always have dishwater handy, soapy dishwater. And I am going to cut this long potato in half because I don't want to French fry that long. I just cut it in half and then go down and cut it in lengthwise. As big as you want your French fry. You can cut them thin, thick, however you want them. And see, that's going to make plenty of French fries for me. I mean, it'll be enough for 2 people probably. So there is my French fries cut up. And I don't like to season them with anything until after I fry them. When I fry them, I'll season them then. Let's see. Bring my hush puppies over here. I gotta bring my camera over here, because we're getting ready to start on the fish and the rest of this stuff. And I've got to get I got to get my oil in the pot. And this is an old pot I've had for 50 some years. It was just the right size for this basket. And I always fried my French fries, my hush puppies, my fish, anything that I wanted to drop and deep fry in, because I didn't cook that much at one time at home. Now, when we were out on the beach, we used a great big pot on top of a gas burner to fry fish and hush puppies. But use any kind of frying oil you want. I just happen to have Crisco pure vegetable, but you can use any kind you want. And I don't usually deep fry. I got out of deep frying a long time ago because it takes so much oil to deep fry with. And I don't want to get it too full because it'll heat up. And once you put your hush puppies and your fish in there, it's going to come up even higher. And I may have gotten too much in there. I don't know. We'll see. But now, to batter my fish, I've got half self-rising flour, half cornmeal, whether it's yellow cornmeal or not. And like I said, usually I use yellow cornmeal, but I haven't had any because I've been using it for cornbread and stuff like that. And I just bought a cornmeal mix the last time. You'll need 1 egg and like a half a bowl of milk. And I'll probably do it a lot different than anybody else. Going to beat your egg up a little bit. And I may have to get another egg before I'm finished. I don't know if this one will be enough. And it's been a long time since I have fried fish, so just going to mix up that cornmeal and flour a little bit. Oh, and I put about a teaspoon of sugar in my hush puppies. That's why I had that there, and I almost put it in my cornmeal here, and I don't want it to batter my fish. But I do want paprika, seafood seasoning. If you don't have seafood seasoning, just use paprika, garlic salt, onion powder, salt, pepper. And I'm going to put it all in here, in with my bread, my flour, to batter my fish. Seafood seasoning, I'm going to measure that out a little bit. And I'm probably going to get maybe a teaspoon of it in there for what fish I've got. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of onion powder. Maybe half a teaspoon. I'm going to put about half a teaspoon of paprika. And a half a teaspoon of garlic salt. As you can tell, I like to season up my fish. I am going to put a plate back there with some paper towel in it. Because I think I'm going to put my fish and my hush puppies on the same plate. Meantime, I'm going to mix this around. I'm surprised I haven't started sneezing with this seasoning yet. And I'm going to try my potatoes. Just throw it in there and I'll wait till it starts cooking. I might put my fish, my hush puppies, and my French fries on the same dish just for them to cool off on. If I can get it folded right. It never does fit no matter what plate I get, it never fits it perfect, so. But I always made my spaghetti sauce, everything, right in this little pot. It was the most handiest pot to have I've ever seen. Like I said, unless you were having a big fish fry, then we would be out on the beach pulling the net in, and we'd fry fish right out there with a great big old cast iron pot sitting on top of a 5-gallon gas tank that had a burner welded to it. Almost, not quite. I mean, you can season your fries however you want. I just don't season them until after I get mine cooked. And then I just usually put a little bit of salt and pepper on them. But y'all help me remember, I got my cornmeal, my flour, my onion, and a teaspoon of sugar in my cornmeal to make my hush puppies. I would have loved to have done this outside, but it's enough of a hassle trying to get everything together to do it inside. Let that get just a little bit hotter before I put the rest of them in there, and I'll probably put half of them in at a time. But this is the first time I've fried fish in years. Usually if I want fish, I go to Brookshire's Deli and get some hot fried catfish that they just pulled out of the fryer. Or once in a while, I'll go to Stumpy's and eat a catfish plate. I don't do that too often because it is a little expensive to eat out. I mean, it's expensive to buy catfish to eat at home. I mean, they're not cheap. You get a couple of pounds of catfish and fillets and it's $20 easy. Yeah, I cut mine a little thin because I want them to cook fast. Hopefully. I might get them all in there. Yep, I got all of those 2 potatoes in there. But when I get done with this, I mean, I'll have meals enough for 2 people, or two meals. And to get that at a restaurant, you'd spend $40 or more, especially if you get something to drink to go with it. So you can say you've been to Linda's Fish Fry. And that grease is getting a little hotter and hotter all the time, so you have to be careful. I got my fish fillets here already washed and patted dry. You know what? I always forget to move this fryer out of the way to give me room up here. Maybe I'll need it this way. I don't know. I hope I got enough stuff to do that little bit of fish. I think I'll add a little bit more salt to that meal for the to batter the fish in. My phone, I tell you. I've had 23 calls come in, and every one of them is nothing but sales calls. But I always like to do my potatoes first. And I got used to frying them like this when I worked at a grill, because I was their short order cook and waitress and cashier. And we always, fried fish and hush puppies and potatoes and everything else in baskets like this. But you can see it took almost this whole, there's this much in the bottom of this container. And it was a brand new container. So it takes quite a bit of oil to fry stuff. But I can use it again. I just don't know when I'm going to be frying anything else. Not deep frying, but, hey, I'll come up with something. Okay, we got our cornmeal. We got our flour. I've got my onion. I got my teaspoon of sugar. Now, I'm also going to put garlic. I'm going to put onion powder. And I'm putting about a half a teaspoon. It's up to you what you put in there. because you're going to season it to your own taste. I'm going to get an egg. You always got to put an egg in your hush puppies. And we're going to mix in a little bit of milk. Now you can use water if you'd like. You can use buttermilk. It doesn't matter. A lot of time I'll use water. If I've got milk on hand, I'll use the milk. And this is going to make quite a few hush puppies. But you don't have to have a spring onion. Most of the time I just cut up a white onion in mine. And yes, I've got a fork that I'm mixing it with. It doesn't matter. Whatever works the best. And I've got it in kind of a loose consistency because I know after it sits there for a few minutes it's going to kind of dry out a little bit and get thicker. And if it doesn't, I'll add just a little bit more cornmeal. This is the only thing about frying at home. Usually you got one pot to fry in. You don't have multiple bins with baskets to fry each thing all at one time. But this is going to be a good lunch, y'all. Go ahead and clean up a little bit of my mess over here. Throw that out in the composting bin a little bit later. And I can go ahead and put this in the refrigerator. It don't need to be out. I've got all I need in my coleslaw. Oh, I can't wait to dig into this. I know it's going to be good. Turn up the burner just a tiny bit. Seems like it's taking a little bit long for it to brown. Mountain Dew today, y'all. I took my catfish fillets and I literally had to cut them in half. That's half of a fillet right there, y'all. So I ended up with 4 great big fillets. Because I'm only cooking half the catfish I had. To cook all of it was just way too much. And I had shrimp, but I didn't want to try to mess with the shrimp too today. But I do my shrimp the same way I do my fish. I batter them and fry them just like I'm going to do my fish here in a minute. This brings back so many memories about frying fish out on the beach. So many memories. And sometimes I'd go to Stumpy's and you know, this is Tuesday, so they have their taco special usually. Or they did, I'm sure they still do. But they're almost $4 a taco. To get a fish taco or a chicken taco. I usually go there sometimes and get 2. But my preference is just to get a catfish dinner. Because I like that better. I just can't eat it all. So I usually have to bring a takeout with me. Well, they're floating, y'all, so they'll be ready in a few minutes as soon as they get some brown on them. I mean, you take in the cost of what it would take these restaurants to fry up one catfish dinner, and you can understand why they charge what they do, because they not only have to pay for the ingredients to go into making that dinner, they have to pay for the oil, they have to pay for the person that puts it all together and cooks it behind the counter, they got to pay all the people that clean up the restaurant, that type of thing. They got to pay their overhead, such as electric, gas, whatever they cook with, I don't know. So I guess to get a catfish dinner for $12 to $15 a plate is not too bad. Now I'm saying that much because I haven't bought one lately. Might have to get me a cough drop somewhere here. I can't cook, y'all, without breathing the vapors of the oil or the food. And it gets me coughing. I mean, it's terrible to have that problem. Because I feel like I have to keep a cough drop in my mouth constantly. There is my coleslaw. And you know, another good thing that's good in your hush puppies, not only onions, but some grated Parmesan. I'll put just a little bit in there, not much. Just enough for the flavor. Oh, those hush puppies smell so good. And see how they're kind of drying up a little bit and getting a thicker consistency? That's what I want. They're getting some brown to them, y'all. Won't be long now. Let them drip a little bit. Now, we are going to put our fish in the egg batter. Put it in the flour. Put it in the milk. And back in the flour mixture. And drop it in. Ooh, it's about to bubble over. Can only get one piece of that fish in there. At a time, because it's so big. Should have cut it a little bit smaller because it started to stick to my pan or my basket. see my little tongs. There they be. They're back there behind. They fell out. Y'all watching? It's a messy job, y'all, and there's no need to wash my hand because I got 3 more pieces to put in here. I don't know, you know what? I may cut that because that's a little long to try to put it in there. I wanted to leave it in as big a pieces as I could, but that's a little bit long to put in there like that. So I'm going to cut that one in half. That one's probably okay. It is kind of messy, but I'll guarantee you it's worth it. Brings back days when I worked in a grill and a truck stop. And I was a little bit of everything, so I cooked, I helped prep the food, I cleaned, I was cashier, a little bit of everything. I had to do this many times with oysters, fresh oysters off the ships, and a lot of stuff. Makes a greasy mess. See, that fish is so big I could only get one piece in there at a time, and I cut it all up. I may have to get another plate for my hush puppies because that's going to be a little bit much. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get another one. Didn't realize these things would take up so much space. And like I said, I can't tell you how much cornmeal or how much flour, depending on how many fish you fry, how many hush puppies you want to make. So you just have to judge that for yourself. The best thing I can do is tell you half flour, half cornmeal, regardless of what type of cornmeal it is. And then season to your liking. I've just had enough for doing that. Normally I wouldn't use tongs for this. I would just dump the basket, but move some of these over a little bit. I'm not going to have room for my fish. Yeah, I did a many a fish fillet this way, many a oyster this way. It is messy and icky and a job to clean up, but I guarantee you it's worth it. Get all that cornmeal and flour off my fingers. Just drop a gob of cornmeal in the floor. Don't want that in there. I'll be stepped on it. Definitely will be stepped on it, and all that you can throw out because we've got our last piece. I've got to get this off my fingers. I can't handle it anymore. If it's one thing I have done is fry fish in my lifetime. At home and in restaurants where I worked. Last piece in there. I'm cleaning this up a little because I want to present my fish up here. And my coleslaw and my hush puppies. And usually when your fish float to the top, they're done just like a piece of chicken. The only thing you do is just leave it in there till it gets the brownness that you want it to be. You don't want to burn it, but move that back. Let it cool off. Whoa, I gotta fry my hush puppies, don't I? What am I saying, cool off? We gotta fry my hush puppies. Y'all think I lost my mind. Mixed all my hush puppies up and then wasn't gonna cook them? That would have been terrible. That would have been completely terrible. Now see, my dough is kind of thick. That's the way I want it for my hush puppies. And I put about a half a tablespoon of batter to a hush puppy. I mean, you can make them as big as you want. But I find about a half a tablespoon of batter heaped up makes a good size hush puppy. And see, they'll float to the top when they're done. And they're already probably as brown as I want them to be. There's 4 of them. And I got a bunch more to go. Some people like their hush puppies a little bitty. I like mine, you know, pretty good size. And there goes a little piece that fell off that I cooked. That's good. This is so handy to fry hush puppies in. I'm going to use this again, I think, just to get my hush puppies out. Makes it easier than picking up that whole basket. I mixed up a little bit more hush puppies than I wanted, really. But I had to show you a good amount, show you how to cook them. Some of them have little fingers that fell off, but that's okay. Quite a few hush puppies right there. And like I said, some people like small, little bitty hush puppies. Some people like egg size like I'm fixing. Just fix the size that you like. After you fix quite a few of them, you'll come up with just the right size that you like. And I've had some people ask me, how in the world do you use that dish pan with a dish drainer and do this kind of thing? Well, there's just enough space between that dish pan and the sink here for the water to go. So it comes in handy. I was going to wait and show you this when I fixed fresh fish that I caught myself. But I mean, these are fresh. These weren't frozen or anything. These were fresh fish, but they came from the store. Now I can turn this burner off. And I can move it so it will cool off. Back here out of the way. The only thing I don't like about frying fish is the grease gets everywhere. But there you go. Here is my fish fry. Hush puppies, fried catfish, fried potatoes, coleslaw. You don't get no better than that. And a lot of times I make my own tartar sauce to go with that. I just haven't made any, and I think I did make the tartar sauce in one of my previous videos. So I may just use some honey mustard sauce or ketchup. I like them too. But I gotta try my fish, y'all. Just gotta break a piece off and try it. Get a fork. Look at that. Y'all take a bite of that fried catfish. It was too hot for me to hold in my hands, so I had to do that. Oh my goodness. I've been wanting some fried catfish for a while now. So here we go. Y'all take the first bite. Flaky inside. Oh my goodness. I got my first bone. They fell down on their job. I need to put some in my plate. I'll go ahead and put that piece of fish because I was eating on it. Put a few of these French fries. Put a couple of hush puppies. Dig down to the bottom where they're cooler. And get me a spoonful or two of my coleslaw that I just made. This is a teaspoon, y'all. Gotta eat a tater. Gotta get ketchup. Some people like ranch dressing on their potatoes. I've got, where is it? Honey mustard dipping sauce. That's as good as, tartar sauce. Put a little bit of that on my French fries. Put a little bit of this honey mustard sauce instead of tartar sauce on my fish. But I got my good old home fries. And coleslaw. Homemade coleslaw. Real simple and easy. catfish fillet dipped in a little bit of honey mustard sauce. Take a bite. That is so good. Mmm. Oh my God, y'all. I just died and went to heaven. I'll take a bite of my hush puppy. Mmm. Look how flaky that is inside. Just the right amount of onion. Mm-mm. Well, y'all, I'm going to end my video. I'm going to sit down here and enjoy my lunch. I hope y'all enjoyed my fish fry. Doesn't that look good? Oh my God, that looks so good. Country food at its best. Fried catfish, French fries, coleslaw, and hush puppies. You don't get no better than that. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye now.